is when an S-Class wasn't good enough for you, he said, okay, let me go take it to Brabus and make it even crazier. Very connected to the driver. So a lot of these cars over time, like the all W140s, they're extremely valuable in their time, but these even more so. People, investing hundreds of thousands of dollars in the mid 1990s into these cars you see in front of you to make them what they are today. Engine modifications, interior modifications, bodywork modifications, all to make the cars more aggressive and also look really cool.
So these cars basically went to the elites of the time. It was never a regular person that had this car. It was either a top exec at a company, a mob boss, a big celebrity. It was always someone very important, a dignitary. It was never just a regular human because you could not afford this car. This car was upwards of $200,000–$300,000 in its time. The most special about the car is the rarity. These cars, you just never see them. They're unicorns in their own right. They usually end up in Japan, in some parts of Germany, Russia mostly, and in the Middle East. And that's where we acquired these two. They happen to be both in the Middle East. And
from separate collectors.
Yeah, separate people had them. This one actually came out of an auction. We actually got lucky and jumped on it. This was during COVID, when people were just not really paying attention to, especially the Middle East auctions. So we jumped on it.
And this one here, we got through some connections in Abu Dhabi and Dubai in the UAE. So we were able to network and get this car from our good friend, King of Brabus, who has a unique ability to unearth these gems. This is actually one of his personal cars. So we know it's very well cared for, example, and it's been maintained in perfect quality, not even restored, just a little bit of usual maintenance, but original car, gorgeous car. And probably one of the most complete Brabus cars you'll ever find from that era.
Yeah, so it has a full Brabus interior. The motor was fully converted, the exhaust system, you got the Brabus kit all over, you got Brabus pedals, you got the Brabus steering wheel, you got the Brabus instrument cluster. So it's pretty much everything you can want from a Brabus car. So both these cars are 1995s. This car came out of Japan, so it was tuned and built in Japan. And this one was built in Germany at Brabus itself. So this car is a very, very unique and very official car. When we're talking about Brabus specifically, the prestigious cars, the real prestige comes from Brabus, Germany. And this is one of the cars that came out of the factory there.
So these are two different motors. This is a newer motor than this one, so the updates were done at different times. But both 73 S's, so actually 7.255 liter engine. And I believe they do upwards of 550 horsepower. So I know the 73 does right around 525 and the 73S about another 50 horsepower around 575. These cars were all tuned, so now no one ever left the tuner exactly the same. They try to keep specifications, of course, as tight as they could, but also over time and different owners had different requirements for the cars.
As you can see right here, one of the most important and most crazy engines in the game. This is the 7.3 Brabus engine, also very rare, very, very aggressive tune on these cars. You can really feel the power when you drive these cars. Daniel, how did it feel when you drove? I know it was your first time driving a 7.3S.
It's powerful, that's for sure. It's a big car, so it feels weird to feel it move that way, almost like a Maybach we were talking about. Right. Kind of floats like a Maybach, but a lot of power behind it, definitely aggressive and very comfortable car, still a great ride. Is when an S-Class wasn't good enough for you, he said, okay, let me go take it to Brabus and make it even crazier, so make it more tuned. So all the comfort of that S-Class, a W140, but floats and just takes off. It's amazing. Steering is a little shaky. I mean, it has little things we need to work on it. You guys are going to see us work on it and put it on in the museum, but a little bit of shakiness at higher speeds, but we can address that probably issue with the wheels and tires being balanced. But
yeah, the tires on this car have dry spots on them. It was sitting for a long time in the Middle East. Obviously, these cars, they suffer. They're heavy cars. You can't have them sitting too long. So it happens, especially with the hot climate over there. But we're just trying to show you guys, when you collect these cars, how they come and how you got to address them. This car was well maintained, well cared for by the previous owner. He really loved it. He was really worried about the car. He ceramic coated the whole body before it left Abu Dhabi. So it was in good shape over there and it was still protected from the elements. So we're thankful for that. You see the Brabus caution card right there. And it says in German, Achtung.
Achtung.
So Achtung means warning. So I like that. It's like a big warning label, like warning, you're driving a Brabus, you're gonna kill someone. That's basically what it says in there.
Checks out.
We love it, guys. Honestly, we love Brabus. It's one of my favorite brands. I obviously made a song about it. I'm obviously wearing a shirt. So you guys see it's really, really dear to our hearts. So we're gonna move on to this next motor right here. We got the 7.3 once again here, guys. Another clean motor. Driving both cars, Daniel hasn't driven this one yet, but I've driven both. And I could say they're very, very similar. I had some doubts to the authenticity of this car because we know this one's officially from Brabus. We have all the paperwork, but the cars that come out of Japan are really hard to track their history. So we weren't too sure. Usually when the car gets the interior done, that's when you know it's really a real build, because it's really hard to do an
That's like the finishing touch. Like the last thing we spent a lot of money on is the interior.
When people build these cars, they can usually find the motor and they can find the body kit and the wheels and build the car. So that's how it can happen. But to find
someone in Russia has an original one from back in the day, drives it, crashes it. At least you can save the motor and some aspects of it. But the interior is usually destroyed, you know.
That's how we judge the cars. Like we said in the past video, Brabus lost a lot of files due to a fire in their archives, so they can't track most of the 80s and 90s cars. But we try to do our best to talk to who we can and try to look at forums and try to see where the car originated from.
So what's really special about this car, in addition to being a unique motor and unique build, is how much time and care was put into modifying the interior. As you can see here, this leather looks different. It's not usual smooth leather you see stock from Mercedes. It's a bit softer and has a little bit of a crinkle to it. So when you see a Brabus car, it's kind of the finishing touch.
All right, guys, so expanding on what Daniel was saying, this is called executive leather. As you can tell, they tried to keep it very classy, not make it look too crazy. So they took the same original pattern and just added some crinkling to it and made it more plush. So it's more of a plush feel. It's very subtle and not many people notice it. It's very subtle. You have to know your stuff. So Brabus, real Brabus guys, they know, their eye catches it.
It makes you realize that someone's willing to actually take out the interior, improve the comfort only more than just the look, because the look is still pretty standard, and take the car to the next level. So whoever originally ordered this car wanted to drive in speed and comfort and every amenity they could really afford at the time in these types of vehicles. It's a very complete car. It has really everything you'd want as a collector of these very, very rare Brabus W140s, especially the V12.
When Brabus was pushing the limits of the M120, they were pushing it to 7.3 liters and making it go faster than it could ever go. They were trying to push this thing that's basically a bank vault to a complete stop while it's doing maybe 300 kilometers an hour. So to do that, you need very, very good brakes, very expensive brakes, and that upgrade would run you about $20,000 to $30,000 just for the brakes. That's why the car would be 300 grand, because everything was so crazy. Like the engine upgrade was crazy, the brake upgrade was crazy, the interior upgrade was crazy, the body kit, everything. Crazy. So the wheels were crazy. Like the Brabus Maybach we have, the wheels were $30,000 on that thing in period. Just so you know why Brabus is so special and so sought after and such a crazy prestigious brand, is because they put so much money into building their cars. We got two different sets of rims. This one has the monoblock 3s, which are personally my favorite on this car. And this one has the spider looking monoblock 5s, which I also love, but these look better basically on an SL, in my opinion. SL73 with these, nasty. So the monoblock 5 has a very spider looking pattern. It's just like very crazy, just different, you know. I love it, but on this car I just feel like this more solid monoblock looks better. But either way, they both look good. Let us know what you guys feel in the comments. What would you rather have on your Brabus if you had a 7.3S? Most people, when they got a Brabus car, they focused on the motor, the exhaust, and the body kit and the wheels, maybe in that order. So shout out to everybody out there with a real Brabus car. Very, very special unicorns to have. Share your thoughts with us about the 7.3Ss, guys. And
if you know someone that has a 7.3S,
yes,
be very worried about who they are and how they got it.
Yes.
But then see if you can get it from them.
Shout out to everybody.
Way more responsive car than the silver one. Very responsive. Feels very connected to the driver. Actually, smiling, it's so different. The other one has a nice wobble to it. There's a lot of take in the brake. Like there's a lot of take up before you actually get anywhere with it. This is pretty responsive, and actually same thing in the accelerator. Steering is much better.
So we're racing the Brabuses, trying to get a feel for how it really feels to drive these cars. This one has dry spotted tires, like I said. It needs either a balancing of the tires or some brand new tires. So we're gonna do that next. The engine also needs to be tuned up a bit, just touched up. You know, it needs a tune up, it needs an oil change, it needs all the basic things you do to a car that's been sitting for a while. But overall, amazing car. The power is insane. You just feel it instantly as soon as you touch the pedal. I feel like the black one's a little healthier right now. It's performing a little better than this one. This one's like not all the way there, but you can still get the feel and understand what a Brabus 7.3 is all about with this one right here.
These modified engines, you do feel obviously a lot more in lighter cars, but something about this just takes off and just floats and just accelerates so nicely.
That's a real Brabus, bro.
It feels like you're driving a heavy, solid car, but it feels incredibly modern at the same time. And I would liken it to what currently a Rolls-Royce would feel like. It's a very heavy car, but it kind of accelerates what a modern Rolls-Royce feels like in terms of how you feel connected with the car, and it kind of takes off and just glides, and there's a lot of power behind it. But for back then to have a car to go this big, to go 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds was amazing and still feels incredible.
Still trying to authenticate everything, so please help us out. If you got any information, drop it below in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's the 7.3S's, the glorious and the best 140s ever created, and we appreciate to have them in the collection, and we're very lucky to have them, and we want to share it with you guys. So stay tuned. It's the Patina Collective.